being a student, when I got disability, I mean, the same way, like, even I was feeling like my life is all dead. Now I am not able to do anything. But then I really wanted to say to the people in the audience, okay, people can definitely steal your money or maybe some other things which is um, tangible, but then no one can steal your skills and educations, and you can always use those things in your capacity to empower this community. And that's what exactly I did with the help of Bal Savalamban Trust. And I used my mechanical engineering education, and we designed the wheelchair. And now we are with this wheelchair, which is active wheelchair. And somehow I'm serving the community. So that's what I request all of you to please use, make whatever, in whatever sense you can make this place, this society, this country more accessible. Because as Bala, the founder of the Ableaura, said, we are 16%. I mean, can you imagine? Officially, we are 1.2 billion people across the world with disability, some kind of disability. And if we wanted to make this world as a better place, we cannot ignore people with disability. We have to include them. And that's what is time, and that's what the need of hour. So let's hope. From this platform, Ableaura, I wanted to urge you all, whoever, whether it is your home, whether it is your workplace, offices, anything, try to make it accessible, because people from all walks of life can be your service provider or service taker. So thank you so much once again. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you so much, Shamsalam. And we were just discussing this right there in the backstage, Tirunandakumar Avargal and myself, that you just proved your point with the 2 mic changes. Thank you so very much. And folks, don't leave your seats, because it's going to be exactly 2 minutes of ads. Stay put. We'll be back with our next speaker.
Yeah.
Affordable. One night, Jyoti had a beautiful dream. She saw all the things she always wanted to do. That's playing with her friends in the open, traveling and experiencing life like her friends do. Ableaura brings a new light of hope for Jyoti. And together with Ableaura, she relives her dream as a reality. There are many more Jyotis who have similar wishes. Join Give a Wish campaign and empower a child.
Before we call our next speaker, I'd like to call on these splendid individuals who are going to present mementos of our appreciation, love, and participation in today's event to them. I'd first like to call on somebody who just exudes positivity and energy, literally vibrates with energy wherever and whenever he is. Whoever said that people in finance are very serious folk? This gentleman always has a smile on his face, although he is literally actually the Commissioner of Income Tax, Department of Revenue, Ministry of Finance, Government of India. He is a multi-talented, multifaceted personality whom I had the honor and pleasure of meeting at the launch of Ableaura itself. He has held many, many senior posts, and in each and every one of them, he has found a way to enable youngsters, enable people who needed enabling, enable those who needed just that little bit of support and push to get to the next level. He's extensively worked with students with his Vinnai Thandi program, which he initiated, and he was extremely instrumental in the creation of the Union Government's Department of Disability Affairs in the year 2012-2013 and was chosen as the top 20 youth icons of India by India Today magazine. Let's put our hands together for Tirunandakumar from the IRS. He's an eloquent, enigmatic, and engaging speaker. But today we're going to see a completely different facet of him, a little surprise that he has tucked in his back pocket. But in a little while. Not yet. And it's very apt that he's here to present the memento to our speaker, because when I introduce our speaker, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I would also like to invite another very special guest who is here with us, Sailesh Tiwari, who is the Executive Director of the Southern Region Pipelines of the Indian Oil Corporation Limited, a product of IIMs and IITs. It's a battle of intellects right here on this stage. Now coming to our speaker himself, he's a pioneer in using Braille to clear the UPSC civil services not once but 3 times. He cleared it all 3 times only because he wanted to keep bettering his own score. He played golf against himself in the game of life and he wins each time. Under par, against yourself is the best way to live life. We have already welcomed Satendra Singh. There's more. There's more. Satendra Singh is the Deputy Collector of Pondicherry, and he has made it his mission to clear every challenge and be an inspiration to everyone around him. So tokens of our appreciation and love from Ableaura and the Ray Foundation.
Thank you. Thanks.
Look forward to listening to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Thiru Nandakumar, Thiru Tiwari. Thank you. Thiru Singh, would you like a handheld mic or would you like the podium?
I'd be on the podium.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? All right, so I'm here to talk about the theme, Know Me, K-N-O-W, Know You. Know Me, N-O, Know You. Effectively means what I call invisibilization. That is, invisibilizing or rendering your existence almost non-existent. So there are certain processes, many very experiences with disability that I have had. But today I'll be talking about the experiences that pertain to the theme. So I had the privilege of acquiring disability at a very young age, because that gave me a lot of time to experience it intensely. And I have very vivid memories of the fact that many of my family members and extended family members would ask me to stay behind closed doors whenever somebody new or some important guest will come in. As if the presence of a disabled person will be uncomfortable and unpleasant to the guest. The experiences of other friends with disabilities corroborate my experiences. Many of them were locked inside the rooms on the occasions of festivities and ceremonies like marriages, as if disability is an inauspicious thing that, that shadow shouldn't befall upon the celebrity or upon the important occasions going around. I educated myself and learned that this is not limited just to the field of disability. I read that the untouchables were mandated to hang around drums in their necks so that the sounds from the drums will alert the upper caste and the upper caste would avoid their shadows. I read that the white race had exclusively reserved roads, pubs, clubs, and other public spaces for them. I read that women were not allowed to venture outside the homes lest their presence in public should pollute the society. Discrimination, exploitation, exclusion is intensely devastating because it robs society of a budding talent, of a very creative budding potential. And invisibilization happens through discrimination. Invisibilization happens at every stage. It happens at the level of family, level of community, at the national level, at the global level. It's universal, it's structural, it's agential, and it's social. Now, what are the ways out? So my talk today is on the 3 propositions or 3 strategies that I propose to deal with discrimination or the problem of invisibilization. Those 3 propositions are, firstly, to consider that all of us are unique and irreplaceable individuals. Secondly, to consider that diversity is a valuable resource and a virtue, and disability is part of social diversity. Thirdly, to consider that each and every individual has absolute and inalienable right over self-assertion and self-realization. So coming to the first point, all of us are unique and irreplaceable. As William Shakespeare remarked, all men are the actors and all the world is a theater. We come here, play our role with multiple exits and entries and depart. Similarly, all the individuals are absolutely irreplaceable, unreplaceable, and unique creations and unique creatures of Almighty. And therefore, it makes very little sense to compare them or to ensure a hierarchy between them. Each and every individual should be treated as an irreplaceable unit who has his own niche, his own space and his own trajectory that he or she is going to carve out. Secondly, all of us think differently. All of us sound differently. All of us appear differently. Our thoughts, our perspectives, our views, our looks, our genetic makeups, our signatures, everything is absolutely different and unique. And it makes very little sense in that case to compare or ensure an order of merit between those individuals. The way out is to equalize the individuals, is to cherish the presence of each and every person, is to treasure and honor and celebrate the gracious existence of all of us. The second proposition is that diversity is a resource. Diversity, of which disability is a part, is of greatest significance in the sense that it has great educative value. All of us have the experiences which cannot be replaced by somebody else. So, for example, what a visually impaired person can teach you about experiencing the world through ears or navigating the world through ears cannot be taught by somebody else. Or what a person from LGBTQ community can teach you about the non-heterosexual experiences cannot be taught by anybody else. And therefore, my friends, each and every experience counts, each and every experiential learning is important, and it becomes very important to understand that all of us are living, thriving, creative, beautiful stories, ready to profoundly alter this world. The second thing about diversity is that it has great innovative value. Usually, the history suggests that the genius have come out of deviation. All of you would know that Einstein was somebody who failed in history and was thrown out of the school. Similar thing happened to somebody called Charles Dickens, but all of them turned out to be genius. Genius comes out of challenging the status quo, comes out of not following the already traveled trajectory and carving out a different pathway. And therefore, when you try killing diversity, or when you try devoiding or depriving a person with disability of the potential education, you're essentially robbing her of her creative genius potential that she otherwise could have been. Therefore, the need of the hour, my friends, is to create an inclusive and resilient world, a vibrant and accommodative world based on the principles of the dignity of an individual and the equal moral worth of all of us. And the third proposition that I come to is that all of us, each and every individual, have absolute and integral right of self-assertion and self-realization. This is for two reasons. My experience tells me that at the childhood, at the teenage, even at a younger age, none of us can actually say with certainty as to who amongst us is a potential genius. Nobody can actually guess that who's going to accomplish something remarkable and who is going to be mediocre. Therefore, we have no right to discriminate, to exclude, or to create some sort of favoritism. Secondly, if deprived of an individual or a potential genius of her chances, we will do a great injustice and a greater disservice to the society in the sense that we'll be depriving the humanity and the society of the potential genius that could have been living in this society. Therefore, need of the hour, my friends, again, is to create an ecosystem based on capabilities and resources which enables all the individuals to realize their potential to the fullest without any social, structural, or any other discriminatory hindrances. I will leave by prescribing what Haruki Marukama says. Unclose your minds. You're not a prisoner. You're a bird in flight, searching for new skies in the pursuit of your dreams. Thank you very much.
Thank you so, so, so much. Inspiration is what each one of us needs for various reasons at various points of time in life. Sorry, Nitya, made you run from there. And that is exactly what we are getting here. Being inspired by people from so many different walks of life, with so many challenges, varied disabilities, and various qualities of enablement, both for self and for others. And awesome special moms. Thank you. Our next speaker today wears many, many hats. She's a computer science engineer. She's a singer. She's a host. She's a ramp model. She's participated in various TV shows. She was diagnosed with a rare genetic disorder, but she too broke every limitation of this and serves as an inspiration to so many. And that's the reason why she's here with us. And because she motivates each and every one with similar and or dissimilar situations to fight and win, not despite it all, with it all. Let's have with us Ms. Rekha K. Gowda. And I heard you did a great mashup the other day. That's what Bala told me in secret. Yes. And to present her with our mementos of love and Dore Foundation's exquisite works of art, I would call on Bala, but then Bala is already here, so I will not call on him. But I will also call on Thiru P. Chandrasekhar, our chartered accountant, who is the Honorary Secretary of the Tamil Nadu branch of the National Association for the Blind. And he has devoted his life for the empowerment of those who are visually impaired.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Gowda, I must tell you, I got very excited when I read your name because the protagonist in my novel, her name is Zoe Gowda.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So we have something to talk about after the event.
Exactly, we do. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. So, can I have the audience slide, please? Because without them, I feel like I'm talking to myself. So, yes. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Very much honored and privileged. I know my supporters are on that side. Thank you for the whistle. So, very, very honored and privileged to be talking on this beautiful stage of Auraspeaks. A big thank you to the team for having me here. So today I stand in front of you to discuss a topic that is deeply personal and both universal. And that's love. Can I have a shout out for this word? Awesome. And now with the raise of hand, please tell me how many of you are in love? I see 1, 2, okay. And this is something that we need to work on, and that's what I'm about to speak about. So when I asked, are you in love? What is the first thing that crossed your mind? You probably thought I could be asking whether you have a husband or a wife or a boyfriend, girlfriend, right? So for majority of the people, love is considered as either having a partner or having a feeling towards a boy or a girl, or now that we are becoming more broad-minded, it could be a feeling between two lesbians or gays or people with any other sexual orientation. So feeling, right? That's the word I used. Of course, love is a feeling that has the power to uplift us, to keep us alive, to keep us going, and it can bring us immense amount of joy. But let us also not forget the fact that it can even break us. It can leave us feeling lost and shattered. Let me just put it another question. How many of you feel that there is an end to love? And before you answer, let me tell you that I totally agree to the point that there is no end to the true love, right? So, in context of whatever I'm discussing today, let's assume that we have two endings, okay? One, let's call a happy ending, the one which goes on and on and on. And the other one, let's call a bad or sad ending, and that we often term it as. Am I audible? Yeah. Breakups, right? I think after Narendra Modi, artificial intelligence, this is a most common word that we get to hear, right? But what if I tell you that breakup doesn't lies in relationship with others, but it lies in relationship with oneself, right? You know, love begins with the important relationship of all, the one which we have within ourselves. The way how we view and treat ourselves, it sets the tone on how we interact with the world around us. If we are unable to love and accept ourselves, then it becomes truly challenging to love and accept others. Now let's do a small activity. I'm just trying to keep all of you engaged. I came with all my properties. Huh? So I have this 500 rupees note with me. With a raise of hand, please tell me how many of you want this. I'm going to pick only one. Yeah, I see many of my friends want that. Now let me just do this. And now how many of you want this? You all still want it. That's nice. And now let me just crumple this up. Now how many of you want this? You all still want it. Of course, I'm not going to give to anybody. This was just an activity. But the message out of this activity was very simple. No matter what I did to the money, you all still wanted it. You all went in favor of my offer despite of everything that I did to this. And same is the self-love. You know, we need to accept ourselves. We need to love ourselves beyond our failures and pains. Let us stop saying that I'm a loser, I'm not beautiful, I'm ugly, I'm a nerd. No. Instead, try to replace. You know, you start saying, I'm capable, I'm beautiful, I can do this, my life is wonderful. And slowly, you will observe the changes that life brings to you. Let me speak something about my journey, right? Like mentioned in my introduction, I was born with a rare genetic disorder called Morque's syndrome. Basically, it's called mucopolysaccharidosis type 4. I know it sounds more like a tongue twister, so I don't use that. So it's a very progressive and a degenerative condition. And before I was diagnosed with this, my brother, who is 2 years elder to me, he was diagnosed with the same disorder. So it took 2 long years for just to partially suspect that this was a condition. And my childhood was normal. When I say normal, it wasn't there by default, but we as a family made it look normal, right? And there were a lot of things I had to go through in my childhood days. You know, I was the shortest in my class, my physique was different, and I need my mom's help to go to school, to come back from school and whatnot. But fortunately, I was raised in such a way that I was told to look only at my positives at any given point of time, right? So, I started self-praising myself. You know, what I used to tell my friends, I said that I get to stand first in the assembly line because I'm the shortest, right? And I said I sit on the first bench because I'm the shortest. And when days passed and I lost my hearing ability, I had to use hearing aids. I said that I have the privilege of saying what I should hear and what I should not hear. Trust me. Thank you. You know, this afternoon naps are beautiful. I stay in an apartment where kids play in the afternoon. And I'm very thankful that I use hearing aid, because if I take off my hearing aid, even if the world breaks down, I'm not going to wake up. You know, I consider that as a privilege, and I call this as self-acceptance. And with that same self-acceptance itself, I was able to come out of many dark times that I had to went through. You know, over the years, I slowly started losing my walking ability, my hearing, vision. There were breathing complications, spine issues, and whatnot. I also met with a tragic road accident in the year 2008, which had its own after effects. And because of the underlying condition, I had to undergo a major spine surgery in 2015. I had tons of reasons to give up, to sit and cry, to curse fate, and but I chose otherwise, for which I'm very, very fortunate. And I call that as self-acceptance. With that, I studied hard. I completed my graduation in Bachelor of Engineering in Computer Science, and today I work as a team lead for a reputed multinational company. I won my national award at the age of 14. I'm a national award winner, a singer, host, ramp model, a disability activist, and that's it. Thank you. So if you ask me, how was this possible? Was it easy? I would definitely say no, it was not easy. And I know for a fact that it is not going to be easy. And if you further ask me what made it all possible, I would call that self-acceptance. And now, let us shift our talking to another perspective, okay? Because life is not just about being me. I love myself. I can do everything I want. You can't be that delicate darling, okay? You need to deal with people. So, this is about how do we deal with relationship with others. Just because I love myself, my life, my rules, I can't just walk into Narendra Modi and ask, hey, who is your costume designer? I love myself. I want to get costume design. Or I cannot walk into a cinema hall and say, I can't pay you tickets because I love myself. And most important, because you love yourself, you can't tell back your manager that you're not going to work. Okay? So keep that in mind. And coming back to the topic that we were discussing on, how do we deal with relationship with others? Over the course of life, we tend to meet a lot of people, be it your relationship with your friends, your family, any other relationship for that matter. Again, I repeat, every relationship comes with both joy and heartaches. So we need to be prepared for it. In context to what I'm discussing, let me just present a small story. Many of you might have heard of the name Christopher Reeve. He was playing the title character of the movie Superman and its sequel. So it was May 27, 1995. Reeve's horse made a refusal, okay? So he fell off from his horse. He had a severe spinal cord injury. And he was at the age of 43 when this happened. And all possible treatments were done. He was earning crores together, peak of his career, and then this happened. So all possible treatments were done, and doctors say that there's nothing that can be done. We are very sorry to tell you that you are neck down paralyzed. Okay? So Reeve was devastated to know the fact that he has to spend the rest of his life on his wheelchair. And in fact, he decided to end his life. That's when Reeve's wife, Donna, she comes to him and say, I know it's a very tragic incident that we did not expect, but please know that you are still you and I still love you. This one sentence, it completely changed Reeve's perception about life. He slowly started accepting himself, and then Reeve and Donna, they together started a foundation, donated crores together for the betterment of people who are paralyzed like Reeve. Of course, Reeve died in the year 2014, but even today his foundation is working and Reeve is remembered for all the good works. So this was just a small instance of, thank you. So this was just a small instance of, how acceptance can change one's life. So this was a story that I said, but then I have something very personally connected on this context as well. With that, I would like to invite my brother Jayant on stage, if that is okay.
You want you guys to sing also? 2-3 minutes, please.
Sure, why not? So that's my elder brother Jayant. He works as an assistant manager for another multinational company. So he always says that, I'm a better fortunate one because he being the elder one, he gets to face everything first. And with that experience, we'll be prepared to face everything that is about to bother next. Okay? So why I brought him on the stage was, I was talking about how do we love and accept ourselves, right? When he completed his graduation, he got a job. We were staying in our hometown back then. I was still in my second year of engineering. I still had 2 more years to complete. So, and his job was at Bangalore. Because we are dependent on our mother, she has to take care of both of us. So we didn't have, I mean, we couldn't find a way of getting him a job and then getting me someone who can look after me. So he gave up on his job. He waited for 2 years for me to complete my graduation. And then, this is not only him, huh? I also have done some sacrifices. So let me just tell you, when I completed my graduation, I had I was the first one from my college to get placed. I was holding an offer with me, but at that point, I was looking out for some organization which can offer a job for both of us so that it becomes easy for my mom to take care of both of us. If we work for 2 different organizations, she can't run around, like from here to there and there to here. And my father was still working, so there was no way that he could help us. So,
here on stage with us, please.
and
Maybe we would love to have them here. I'm sorry to interrupt your flow, but we would
No
want
problem.
them here through this.
But I'm thankful you're calling them on stage because
They would come
whatever
if
we
you
are
call them?
today, it's because of them.
And you know why I've given Jayant that mic, right?
So yeah, these are our pillars. Whatever you see on the front page, Rekha and Jayan, we are nothing without them. And thank you so much for getting them on stage. And like I was saying, I was about to take my credit, huh? You just broke my flow. Yes, I gave up my offer and then I waited again. I mean, we waited together to start our career together. And, the offer which I left was a better one, but nothing is more important than, having your family beside. And that's how we accepted ourselves. Point number 1, we accepted ourselves. Point number 2, we accepted each other. Point number 3, we stood together as a family. And that's what life is all about. With that, on a concluding note, I would not want to take much time on emphasizing the same things. Love is a journey that begins with you. Of course, it's often, referred wrongly as having a physical relationship or any other feelings for that matter. But I repeat, the love starts with you. Unless and until you start loving yourself, there is no one that's gonna come on White House to love yourself. So please love yourself, love people around you, and most importantly, accept people beyond their flaws. I think if I'm here talking today, or any of us, if we are here talking today on the stage, it is because the team Ableaura accepted us beyond our flaws, and we should be very, very thankful for the opportunity. And let me conclude. Please do not stop loving yourself because life is very, very short. Love yourself, love others, keep smiling, and I repeat, please love yourself. Sorry, another 10 seconds. Thanks to this man. I'm not here.
When I come on the stage, you get that thing.
No, I saw you. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Rekha, do you know how we are going to smile more? Do you know how we are going to smile more? How you're going to make us smile more? No. Hang on. See, hang on.
Mashup, please.
A mashup between Jayant and you.
Sure.
Mash up.
Okay, we are ready. So there is a karaoke to be played. Can we play that? There is a karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you need a mic. No, you also need a mic, right?
There's a karaoke track. Give in. Boss, give in.
This is a very much surprise. We are not, even the karaoke we are searching now. Sorry for the delay.
One more is needed, that's what I said.
Give in already. He's got one. Jayant, right? I've given him a mic. They're taking a karaoke track on this.
So we are freaking out in finding karaoke. Please bear with us because this was a surprise.
And just send it to. You have the.
He got it. Your brother or sister? I root for the brother.
No.
Yeah,
You just play and go.
Let me enable this. Okay.
ಹಲ್ಲು 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 ನನ್ ಮನ್ಸು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಎಲ್ಲು ಕಳೆದೊಯ್ತೆ ಚಮ್ಮಕ್ ಚೆಲ್ಲು ಕೇಳು ಚೆಲ್ಲು 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 ಆ ನಗುವ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಚೆಲ್ಲು ನಾನಾಗ ಐದು ಪೈಲು ಕೇಳು పెదవే పలికిన మాటల్లో నీ తీయని మాటే అమ్మ కదిలే దేవత అమ్మ కంటికి వెలుగమ్మ ఏదో కువియమిల ஒரு கச்சிப்பேடை ஓ உருவமில நாளே ஏதோ என்ன सोना क्यों रब ने बनाया என்ன सोना क्यों रब ने बनाया आवा जावा ते में यारानु मनावा आवा जावा ते में यारानु मनावा ಕನಸಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೆರೆರೆ ಬಳಿ ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೆ ಮುದ್ದಾಡಿ ಅಯ್ಯಯ್ಯಯ್ಯೋ ಕಚ್ಚಗುಳಿತಾಳಲಾರೆ ಬೆಳಗೆದ್ದು ಯಾರ ಮುಖವ ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ ಅಂದಾನೋ ಅದೃಷ್ಟನೋ ಮುಂದೆ ಕುಂತಿದೆ ಓ ಮಧು నా మనసు నాది కాదు ఓ మధు నా మనసు నాలో లేదు ఊర్వశి టేక్ ఇట్ ఈజీ ఊర్వశి ఊసుపోಲ ಒಡಬರಿಂದ ತೇವೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಫಾರ್ಮಸಿ ತೂ ಚೀಸು ಬಡಿ ಹೈ ಮಸ್ತ್ ಮಸ್ತ್ ತೂ ಚೀಸು ಬಡಿ ಹೈ ಮಸ್ತ್ तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त मस्त तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त ನಿನ್ನ ಪೂಜೆಗೆ ಬಂದೆ ಮಾದೇಶ್ವರ ಎನ್ನ ಕರುಣದಿ ಕಾಯೋ ಮಾದೇಶ್ವರ ಅಮ್ಮಾಯೇ ಸನ್ನಗ ಅರೆ ನವ್ವಗ ಮತಿ ತಪ್ಪಿ ಕುರ್ರಾಳೆ ಮಂಚಾನ ಪಡ್ಡಾರೆ வெண்ணிலவே வினை தாண்டி வருவாயா விளையாட जोड़ी தேவே क्योंकि तुम ही हो अब तुम ही हो जिंदगी अब तुम ही हो चैन भी मेरा दर्द भी मेरी आशिकी अब तुम ही हो थैंक यू
Thank you so much, Rekha. Thank you so much, Jayant. ಇವತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಇದ್ದಿರಕ್ಕೆ ಕೃತಜ್ಞತೆಗಳು. ನೀವು ಬಂದಿರೋದು ನಮಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಸಂತೋಷವಾಗಿತ್ತು.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you so much, everyone.
I'm going to call on our next speaker now. So far, people have spoken here and Nitya's translated. She's interpreted. Right now, our next speaker is going to make this the polar opposite. Our next speaker is going to speak in sign language and we're going to have a vocal interpreter because he's an extremely accomplished travel photographer and photography educator for the hard of hearing. He's been recognized as a change maker by the WHO and he's been honored with several extremely prestigious awards for his photography, not just his photography, but for his contribution to the community. He's actively working to bridge the gap between the community through photography. Let me welcome on stage the inimitable travel photographer, Srivatsan Shankaran. And to present him with mementos of our love and affection, I'd like to call upon Anita Srinath. Please join us on stage to present him with a certificate of participation along with Bala a memento, and a beautiful picture painted by a person with disability from Dore Foundation. The stage is yours. Yes.
The video need to be played.
The video will be played.
Oh,
Do you have his video? Do you have his video queued?
எல்லாருக்கும் கேக்குதா?
There. Your video is there.
Okay. Video will be played.
Have you told them how you want it?
Yeah, they have to already inform them. Yeah, so before starting my speech, a video will be played that has my work about my photography. Like, I would like to present my work. Audio. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so I'm Srivachan and I was born and brought up in Chennai. I have a hard of hearing and let's do. When I was born in Chennai, at the age of 10, I was being identified as sensorial hearing loss. Sensorial hearing loss means both ears. So basically, I have total hearing loss in right ear and profound hearing loss in left ear. So I depend on machine for communication. Without machine, I can't hear anything. If I'm not using machine, I do not know level of my volume about when I'm talking because I took speech therapy at the age of 3, 4. Because of speech therapy and practice, I was able to talk and able to communicate with everybody. I'm still struggling to communicate in the group conversation. I studied in normal school and colleges. The social life was very, very difficult for me. Group conversation is like a world champion battle. Everybody was putting a ball at each other. It was like very difficult for me to understand the conversation. But I decided to accept that, okay, this is my fate. And I want to change my attitude about that. After changing my attitude about my disability, I found a way to communicate in face to face. That was more convenient for me. Still, I'm struggling to communicate. I used to hide my disability during my college, during my school, because I felt it was a burden for me. I did not know how to talk about the disability with everybody. That took a lot of time for me to understand it. At the same time, when I was working in corporate, I used to struggle to understand the meeting, to communicate with everybody in the meeting. But I took a lot of pressure for me. So I used to take pictures using mobile at the time of working in corporate. So I used to go to different places on every weekend. That gave a little happiness to me. Eventually, I developed photography as a hobby for me. In 2012, I quit my job because I want to pursue photography as a passion for me. Then I decided to travel in different places in Tamil Nadu independently. That gave a lot of opportunities to meet people, culture, lifestyle, and the most importantly, connection. I was craving for connection. I was craving for, happiness. Photography gave me the happiness to me. Eventually, I started connecting with a lot of people using photography. After returning to Chennai, I used to send my work to different competitions and publications and newspapers. For first 1 year, I did not get any appreciation, anything. Without expecting anything, I was enjoying the process of clicking the photos, taking pictures, going independently. It's more like a self-discovery for me. I found the strength of mind. When I found the strength, I was like, okay, I was focusing more on ability than disability. When I was focusing more on ability, I started advocating for myself. I felt that we start to talk about my disability. I should talk about my accommodation wherever I go. I'm not scared of anything right now. When I don't understand anything, I will tell them openly, okay, I don't understand that. That's how they do it. Slowly, I decided to advocate for myself. Things will grow up like 3-4 years. I started practicing again the same way, 4 years, 5 years. Then for the past 1 year, I have been teaching photography to deaf children, deaf people. So I want more deaf people to come out of their comfort zone so they can become independent photographers. I feel photography is more like platform for me to connect with a lot of people. I feel the connection. I feel the happiness. I'm like, I don't want to depend on anybody for that. Okay. So my work got published in National Geography, Lonely Planet, and more than 25-30 magazines. Apart from this, I've been working with Sony Alpha cameras as a brand ambassador. So they're also helping us with the cameras for me. So I'm practicing the gritness that's helping me to keep going for me. I believe More deaf people should come out of their comfort zone and do the magic. I believe more people can learn about the sign language. The acceptance of communication is very, very important. So the first thing I did was I accepted myself. Without accepting, nothing is possible. The more I accepted, I was able to advocate for myself. Because of acceptance, I'm here. Because of acceptance, you're able to spread the impact to more people in the deaf community. And apart from that, I keep my mind open to everything. It is very important to be constant learning, whether it is like 2018 or 19. I'm 2022. How many of you heard about NFT? Okay, fine. So NFT is I'm in NFT. NFT is really helping people with disabilities. I'm running a collective, Deaf Artist Collective. Deaf Artist Collective is focusing on artists. They can sell the artwork in NFT platform. So constant learning is something very important for us. So I do believe mindful path. Mindful path is something I learned in the past. Maybe like instead of running on many busy work, I always keep sometimes very powerful in the morning. For example, when I wake up in the morning every day, like 5:30, 6 a.m., I used to keep 1 hour for mindful path. I don't do anything, just keep sitting, keep quiet. That helps me to keep me mind, to keep them everything organized, to plan for every day. That's what I do. I believe that mindful path will help us to keep things organized and plan better. So I don't believe disability is hampering it. Disability is more like an identity for me. That is helping us to discover more for us. That's it. That's my story. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That was brilliant. That was, if you can hear, see me speak. Yeah, my brief was a little different, but that's exactly what happened. My brief was different, so my brief was different. But every picture speaks 1,000 words. And with every single picture, he has spoken to us 1,000 times 1,000. So thank you so very much. I told you there's a surprise. You need to wait a little for it, because we have our final speaker for the day coming up next, after which there is a treat waiting for you. But the speaker is also a treat, because she's a force to be reckoned with. When she wrote her civil services exam, topped it. But many people top civil services exams, so what's so? Yeah, okay, that's common. But she was the first person with disability to do so. And she's gone on to win accolade after accolade, including being the brand ambassador for the Department of Disability, a pioneer, an inspiration, a bureaucrat that the country needs. Let's put our hands together again and welcome Ms. Ira Singh. Hi. And I have Bala here already. Otherwise, I'd have had to invite him off of the audience. He's doing a good job? Of saving time. Yes, he is. And Bala, may I request you to present mementos of our love a certificate of participation for being a speaker here, and a beautiful painting from the Ray Foundation by a person with disability. This is a punch in the gut topic that she's chosen. The society that we live in. We strive, we work, we dream, we try, we enable. We Ableaura. We Zoho Auraspeaks, which is an initiative of Ableaura. But by and large, this is a society without acceptance for many things. And that's what she's going to speak about. Thank you so much for being with us, and the stage is all yours.
Good evening, everyone. And it's pretty much the worst thing to be the last speaker after everybody has already talked everything there is to talk about. And I'm so glad that we got to hear all these stories, all these perspectives, because even for me, who deals with this sector, not just on a personal level, but also an official level, I always get to learn something new. So people have already talked about acceptance, so I'm not going to do that. Let me start with my story. So I am a computer engineer, and then I did my MBA in finance and marketing, and ended up working as a strategy manager with Cadbury India in Bombay. And while I was working, there was a point when I was working 20-hour days, and I loved my job. It was very interesting. And come on, who doesn't love working in a company which has a room full of chocolates called the chocolate room, and you can go and eat as much as you want at any time. So that's like free chocolates for life. I mean, who doesn't want a job like that? I absolutely loved my job. But what I started realizing was that I needed my life and my work to make a difference. I needed my day, having spent 20 hours working, my day to have meant something to someone. Someone in the world should say that because you worked so hard, my life is better, or my family's circumstances better, or my, the environment for me is better. Just simply, my life should have meant something to someone. And I quit, and I joined the civil services. I decided to join. I didn't get to join yet. And I gave the exam, and I got into the IRS, and then I kept giving. Did this go away? No, okay. And now I'm finally in the IAS. And when you say it like that, it kind of, makes you think it's a nice short story, and you attempted so many things and you got in. Well, no. So right from the first time my parents tried to put me into a school, till getting into the IAS, and beyond that as well, even today, it's been a journey of getting constantly rejected by the world around you. My first school, where I ended up, by the way, being the school topper at the end, they didn't take me. Okay, when they did the admission test, and back when I was in school, all kids had to give an admission test. I did the best amongst all, but I was still rejected because I had a cleft palate and I had a nasal voice. Because of that, so they needed a reason to reject, and they rejected me. My parents had to beg and beg and beg. And I was very, very lucky that I had two parents who were willing to put in the effort and who believed that I should get the opportunity at least to prove that I don't deserve it. So I've always been pushed, and my parents refused to accept those refusals. So they had to struggle with the school to take me because, schools in India are very, very, I think the most requests that as an officer we get is, can you please get my child admitted in a school? So the references that we constantly ask for is school admissions. So that was the first time, and it was right as a kid. And then constantly over life, and if you are a person with disability or you have someone in your family, you know that life is a series of events where you're constantly rejected by society. I The one time I did not get rejected actually was in the corporate sector after business school. And that was a very pleasant experience in that sense. I was a high-flying performer, and I was, on track to be like, I got the highest in the top grades of the company, and I got awards internationally by the company. So absolutely brilliant environment, and then I chose to do this to myself. The first time I gave civil services, I got in. I got in means I got a rank, and but I knew that my rank isn't good enough to get into the IAS or the IFS, which were the two services that I really wanted. So I started preparing again, and I got phone calls from other candidates while I was preparing, saying, "Do you know what happened to you?" At this point, I did not know something had happened to me. I mean, I started figuring out if something had happened to me, because, imagine being unaware that something big has happened to you, because strangers are calling and asking you, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" And you're like, "What?" So I figured out, and I realized that, so now when you get selected in this exam, there are two things that the government judges you on if you're a person with disability. First, what is your disability? And second, what are your abilities which enable you to do those jobs? For me particularly, I fit into the category of abilities for all the jobs. So whatever abilities they needed me to do, I could do all of them. But my disability was accepted by only one service, which is the IAS, and no other service in that list of 24 was willing to accept me. It's not just, I later found out that it wasn't just those 24, it's across the country. Every government job has made me ineligible because of my disability. And when you ask them that, what about the abilities that you need for this job, I fulfill that for all of them. Because none of them need you to climb a stair, to pick a book from the top shelf of the library. Those ones, obviously, but everything else, I fit into those. So I got rejected. Despite clearing this exam, I was rejected. And all those people who had called me were also people who had themselves, again, been rejected from this exam for the same reason. At this point, I knew that, by this time, a year has passed. I gave my second attempt, and again, the same exact thing happens. I get a similar rank. I'm not eligible for the IS or the IFS. I'm eligible for IRS. And again, I get rejected, and not just by IRS, all the other services as well, saying that we don't want a person with your disability. And I decided at that point that this was happening to other candidates as well, and unfortunately, it has been happening. So I decided that maybe my mission here was to, solve this. I mean, I have come into the system to make a difference. This is the difference that I'm supposed to make. And I filed a court case. I started that battle. It took a third attempt, and again, the same thing happens. And I tell you, I promise you, this almost never happens. Nobody gives civil services attempt and gets the same exact service every single time. So the third time, again, this happens. And again, I get rejected. And but by the time the result for the third time comes, my judgment for the court case comes, and I've been given a positive judgment, and I'm allowed to join IRS. But so there's a different part of the story which I tell civil services aspirants to scare them enough. But I'm going to skip that. But then my joining was very delayed, and I gave the exam a fourth time, and I got into the IAS. And today, and you would think that, if you've gotten into the IAS, the world would be easier. So let me tell you about my first posting. My first posting was in a rural part of Delhi, which is pretty much Haryana. So imagine being a woman officer who's your size and who looks like me, getting posted in a patriarchal Haryana sort of place, a rural part. So I remember in the beginning when people, and as a sub-collector, right, as an SDM, which basically meant that I dealt with all the land matters. And if you know the land prices of Delhi, you know the kind of intensity and passion that people have for it. So I remember I used to be sitting in my office, and people would come in, and they'd be so flustered that there's this woman sitting there, and she just doesn't, look like anything. She's basically this tiny little person sitting there. So they would frantically hunt for any male they could find. And any of my juniors, if they could, be lucky enough that I would have a junior sitting who I was giving a briefing to or who I was having a meeting with, they would start telling that person their problem. Not facing me, just facing like this and telling them their problem. And constantly talking to them. And, the good thing is I'm used to rejection by everybody constantly. And what I realized very early on is the world doesn't know you. The world hasn't lived in your shoes. The world doesn't have the same experiences as you. For example, let's take a case of two twins. They're born at the same time. They live the same lives. They do everything together. One day, one twin goes into the toilet, comes out, everything hunky-dory. The second twin goes, and there's a snake inside the toilet. It's the same toilet. It's the same, the same two people who've done everything together. Now, the first one is never going to be afraid of going to toilets, but the second one will. So nobody on earth has lived your life, knows your experiences, has your talents or your skills. So nobody in the world gets to accept or reject you. Nobody knows you. And this is something that I learned very early on. I learned that how do I decide that you are allowed to tell me who I can be or what I can be or how I should live my life? By what logic should I allow you to do that or allow your opinions to define my life? And allow your opinions to tell me, what my limits are. Because you've not been inside my shoes. You've not thought like me. You don't have my intellect or my abilities or my disabilities, for that matter. And as we all have heard over the day, disabilities in each of us is different. Even Rekha and Jayant, they would be different in the way their disability has manifested in them. So everybody is different, and that's when so for me, getting rejected by the system, and by the way, the government actually has a mandate to make the world equal for you. So I was rejected by the set of people who's pretty much, their job in the country is to not let inequality happen. So if you're a person with disability or if, you've lived with any kind of things, the only way to succeed is when you let the world, not let the world define you, define your limits, define what you can do. So all of those people who said I could not be any officer, today I sit as an IS officer and I make judgments and I decide on the lives and the futures of many, many Indians. And on environment issues, on social issues, on land issues, on legal issues, like we also, we decide if criminals, we should file further court cases against criminals and all. So we pretty much decide everything in a particular jurisdiction that we have. So my one point here would be that you don't let, the world doesn't know you. Nobody besides you knows you, so nobody besides you can tell you what to do. So completing my story from of all the gentlemen who come to my office, what I do normally is I pretend that they are talking to me. I pretend that they've asked me the question, and I keep answering them back. And I've been lucky that my team has always known how to behave. So, and over the few months, they got used to it. Everybody in the area got used to it. And I must tell you, I'm currently the most remembered officer in that area, 5 years down the line. And I was, society starts accepting you. And Rekha very well said this, that the day you accept yourself, the world starts accepting you. The world will accept you the day you start accepting yourself. And really, many times, you don't need their acceptance. Well, you do if you want opportunities from them, but you may have to fight for that. Fight for that acceptance, but not for anything else, because the day you start begging for acceptance, they get the power to reject you. So if I don't ask you for acceptance, you don't get to reject me. So, and that's my one message to everybody, that please stop letting the world tell you who you can be, what you can be, and how you should be. The only person who knows you is you. So decide that for yourself. All of us have some disability and all of us have some abilities. If I ask all of you, can you today go climb Mount Everest and come back? So aren't you disabled in comparison to those who can? So all of us are disabled in some way. So, who are we to judge others on that? So thank you so much, and I hope we all go on to find acceptance of ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Told you I have a surprise for you. Another facet to a person that you would have never seen before. You can hear things there, can't you? That's what's coming up. And it's my great pleasure to welcome with his troupe of musicians a person who primarily plays chords, but who's going to enthrall us with his singing today, the one and only, inimitable Thiru Nandakumar avargal and his music troupe. Let's hear it for them, guys.
No, I don't. It's on, yeah. Sometimes it's tough to be patient also because you require a lot of. I stated, see, just now I designed it. A disability is a design. Since disability is a design, Ableaura designs for the disabled. So it's very special. But I have one thing to say. Mr. Patrick. So, Mr. Patrick, when we live, I do not know how our emotions are. Nammaloda emotions vandu eppadi irukku abindrathu. Even Bala was asking, Anna, music vachu neenga enna panna poringa appdin. It is all, is there anything abdina? But very important, the disabled are confident. Remember that. Only the people who are surrounded, no, they discourage, or rather, they have a question. Since they have a question, for that question only, I just want to prove that it's not a question. When I was interacting with Mr. Patrick, he says, you go and see his interview, brain eye. He says, a brain has the eye. He could able to visualize, and I'm telling you some of the emotions. Remember, like your heart, which has a diastole and a systole, a basic rhythm, and again, same way, this instrument, whatever the instruments which I'm going to display and make you perform, or rather you are also going to, because you are going to even perform. So in that way, I take the opportunity to introduce all my team members who have come here, but they are all going to play a real instrument and not an electronic instrument except for the piano. Now, Patrick sir, you have to feel, I'm telling you, these emotions are to make you feel. Close your eyes. If you could able to close your eyes, he will emote some of the emotions. I just want to, because certain emotions are very important to heal. Certain emotions are very important to enlighten. Certain emotions are very important to encourage. So I have some positive emotions again. The first emotion, someone will fall in love. The romantic, no? That romantic emotions where Mr. Patrick will start with. Mic on, please. Yes, sir. You can start. See, he has given a demo. Our demo kuduparu. The romantic feel அப்படின்னு வரப்ப, this is again, see, when you look at someone, you feel the romantic. Because every...
I am also a romantic person.
he says he is also romantic. And remember, you are excited. When you look at something, no, we are excited only by the recent gadgets. Oh, we are not excited by seeing the nature. That's the issue. See the excitement and see, at times we have fear. That fear which creates a stress. The internal mechanism, your body mechanism is very important to emotionally balance. And that is why many people and very important, these emotions, I said some positive emotions and the negative emotions. Every music or every sound which is naturally created, that sound has a healing effect. I expect everyone to listen to music every day. When you listen to the music, you will definitely know how music is going to play an important role. I'm telling you, I have overcome my dyslexic disability only by the music. Remember that. That is why I said it's a design. I said it's a design. Because any disability, like there was a question yesterday, he will play a background. That's again a very important one, that recent technology, the AI, artificial intelligence. My friend and myself, we were discussing. When you give an input to the artificial intelligence, it's give you an output. It is going to give you an output. It definitely. But I said, what is the difference between the machine and the man? Very important. If human being is making an error, sir, show some error in the accordion. See how error is also so beautiful, no? See, error is also so beautiful. That is nature. Remember that. When error is artificial, we feel that is where these mission. And I said, only when the human being are having errors, everyone were talking about, only when someone is having error, he will be considered as a human being. Remember that. If you don't have an error, you are equivalent to a mission. That is why our emotions are always conditioned with. And this condition, now I will request a special song, Roop Tera, an excellent one. Everyone has to clap for us again. This is again, he will have a demo. I think this demo, he will say what these instruments all constitutes all about it. And he learned, again, an accidental visually challenged. But he learned from his father and mother, because that is where the father and mother are very crucial. They play a very important role. When they are positive, they make the surrounding positive. And that is how he says, even S.P. Balasubramaniam, அவர் சொன்னாராம், உங்களுக்கு பார்வை மட்டும்தான் இல்லை, கடவுளானா அந்த ஒன்றை விட்டுட்டு உங்களுக்கு இவ்வளோ abundance, he has given so much. அதுக்கு மேல என்ன வேணும் இந்த abundanceல? You are making everyone mesmerizing. Now ரூப் தேரா மஸ்தானா. Yes.
சார் இந்த மைக் ஆன் பண்ண சொல்லுங்க.
நான் இதை ஆன் பண்றேன். Yes. I have.
அப்பா தம்பி
Number 4. Yeah. This is on.
All right. Start.
on, let's all clap. Come on. It's a very simple clapping. Now they're going to play Roop Tera Mastana with your claps. That's again, they are going to have a bass, a drum and also with bangos. Roop Tera Mastana, everyone should clap. This is again to emote you with an enthusiastic feel. Come on, let's, with the sax. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1 second, sir. On the... output, keyboard output. Come on. Yes. See, I have one song. This song is very, very special because Ableaura, Bala, no? Bala is very special to me. Bala has very much emotional connection with his mother and everyone, definitely. And I have a dedication to all the mother. Ungalode ammavukku, Balaoda ammavukku in the dedication. So I have one Amma endru alaikada. Everyone has to, seriya? Yeah. Anna tabla. The Ma sound, no, that's again a universal sound. Mata, Amma, so that's a universal sound. So that sound makes everyone emotionally get connected. And when we are in the womb, நாம வயிற்றுக்குள்ள இருக்கிறப்பவே அம்மாவுடைய மேஜர் சவுண்ட் பேசுறது கேட்டாலும் அந்த யூனிவர்சல் சவுண்ட், that om sound, that's universal. That is why in all the country, in any language, mother has the same connotation. Come on. அம்மா என்றழைக்காத உயிரில்லையே, அம்மாவை வணங்காத உயர்வில்லையே, அம்மா என்றழைக்காத உயிரில்லையே, அம்மாவை வணங்காத உயர்வில்லையே, நேரில் நின்று பேசும் தெய்வம் பெற்ற தாயன்றி வேறொன்று ஏது, அம்மா என்றழைக்காத உயிரில்லையே, அம்மாவை வணங்காத உயர்வில்லையே. அம்மாவை எப்படிலாம் போட்டுறாங்க. அபிராமி சிவகாமி கருமாரி தியாகமாய் திருக்கோயில் தெய்வங்கள் நீதானம்மா. அன்னைக்கு அன்றாடம் அபிஷேகம் அலங்காரம் புரிகின்ற சிறு தொண்டன் நான் தானம்மா. பொருளோடும் புகழ் வேண்டும் மகனல்ல தாயே, அருள் வேண்டும் எனக்கிங்கு அது போதுமே. அடுத்திங்கு பிறப்பொன்று அமைந்தாலும் நான் உந்தன் மகனாக பிறக்கின்ற வரம் வேண்டுமே. அதை நீ அருள்வாயே அம்மா என்றழைக்கால். Come on, let's. Everyone has to sing. அம்மா என்றழைக்கால் உயிரில்லையே, அம்மாவை வணங்காத உயர்வில்லையே. Yes. See, when mother is universal, நல்லா ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. When motherhood is universal, I always feel, when I think about my mother, அது என்னவோ தெரியல, she also has an intuition. That's again, no? She will instantly call me. என்னடா அப்படின்னு. My emotions, when it reaches mother, she will instantly reach me. நான் எப்பெல்லாம் ரொம்ப டிஸ்ட்ரெஸ்ஸாக இருந்திருக்கனோ அப்பெல்லாம் she has reached me. This is called the telepathy. See, very important. You people should have in your telepathy sense again always a healing effect. அதனால இந்த emotions வந்து it's not a motherhood. Everyone has a motherhood feel. That motherhood feel even a male should also feel. It's not that the female, the emotions are not female. Emotions are universal. When you feel mother, you tend to become so tender and you become always very lively. Now, I have one song. In the song வந்து எனக்கு பெரிய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியலிஸ்ட், they are industrialist, but they are with emotions.
ML கோபப்படக்கூடாது. அண்ணா, Kamakshi party needs to leave, so we want to give a little moment.
Yeah, please. Yeah, very well. 4.
It's okay. Kamakshi party பத்தி சொல்லணும்னா, நம்ம எல்லாரும் காமாட்சி பாட்டி கூப்பிடுறோம். Her name is Kamakshi Subramanian. அவங்க every single civic issue in பெசன்ட் நகரை பொறுத்தவரையில அவங்க தான் முன்னின்னு அதை தீர்த்து வைப்பாங்க. She's been there as a voice for everybody in பெசன்ட் நகர் forever. அது மட்டும் இல்ல, she co-founded Spark. Spark is a public forum, and in the public forumல சென்னையை பொறுத்தவரையில எந்த இஷ்யூ இருந்தாலும் அது அட்மினிஸ்ட்ரேஷனோட கண்ணுக்கு கொண்டு வரக்கூடிய ஒரு பப்ளிக் ஃபோரம் தான் இது. நாளைக்கு பிறந்த நாள் கொண்டாடும் நம்முடைய காமாட்சி பாட்டி என்றென்றும் சந்தோஷமா ரொம்ப ரொம்ப ஹாப்பியா.
I love life. Yes. I love people. Yes. And for your information, corporation and police people call me only party.
நாங்களும் பாட்டி தான் கூப்பிடுவோம். And we love you. எங்களுடைய அன்பின் சின்னமா I'm requesting திரு நந்தகுமார் அவர்கள் and Bala to present a memento from Ableaura and a painting from Thore Foundation. Thank you, Patti. Thank you. Yes, we will talk.
In this field, actually, normally when it happens to be a problem child in varappa parents ka, the child with the disability, but rendu perume periya industrialist. இந்த சாங் பாடின உடனே அவர் வந்து தம்பி ஐ ரியலி காட் மூவ்ட். ஏன்னா என் பொண்ணு என்னோட மடியில் படுத்து தூங்குறப்ப இந்த பாட்டை தான் நான் கேட்பேன். அது என்ன பாட்டு அப்படின்றத ஹிந்திலையும் தமிழ்லையும் உங்களுக்காக என்னோட டீம் ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சென்சிட்டிவ். They found that இது என்ன சாங் அப்படின்னு. என்ன சாங் கெஸ் பண்ணுங்க. Can you guess anyone? Yes, in Hindi Surme Akhiyon. கொஞ்சம் ஸ்டாப் பண்ணுங்க கொஞ்சம். எஸ் ப்ளீஸ் ஸ்டாப். Everyone has to sing this rari raro. Rari raro. Come on, try. Rari raro. Everyone open your mouth. Everyone see. We have sung in our mothers. அம்மாவோட வயித்துல இருக்கப்ப நம்ம பாட ஆரம்பிச்சோம். We started singing. So everyone can try. Rari raro. Oh rari ro. Come on everyone. Rari raro. Rari ro. Now if in the stanza varappa you have to everyone has to sing rari raro when the main music is going on. Now the stanza. Yes. Listen to this flute. Evlo melody illa. How melody it is. Actually, this song Satma, this is a movie from Satma, where Kamala Hassan, it's a special movie because that had a national award, especially for Jesudas and also for this song lyrics actually. And certain emotions are elated. Nama ivar Patrick sir vandu he has this is a special instrument. Idu evlo can someone guess what can be the weight of this instrument? Anyone guess panningala I will call them on the stage. 23 it's too much. 25 too much. 10 sir Patrick sir evlo how much?
10.5.
10.5. See, someone is so lively. Our Vakandu Vasigaran, sir, are you going to sit abdina? No. With this 10.5, he stated he will stand and play. அதுதான் இந்த இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்டோட ஸ்பெஷல் நேம். ஸோ அதில் இந்த சாங் வந்து இது அக்கார்டன் பேஸ்ட் ஆக்சுவலாக. கண் போன போக்கிலே certain times the visually challenged, the Beno Sheffin, she is my student who became the first visually challenged civil service aspirant, and she became Indian foreign. Now she is the first secretary in Malaysia, and I'm her tutor and mentor. Where எனக்கு இந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் கிரியேட் பண்ணன்றதை விட இந்த டிபார்ட்மெண்ட் கிரியேட் பண்ணதுக்கு அப்புறமா நானே ஒரு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் என்னோட ஸ்டூடெண்ட்டை ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஆஸ்பிரண்ட்டாக கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணி அதோ பியூரோக்ராட்டாக சிவில் சர்வெண்ட்டாக கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணதில் எனக்கு இதை விட என்ன சந்தோஷம். இந்த டிசேபிள்டுக்கு, லேர்னிங் டிசேபிள்டுக்கு தி காட் கேன் கிவ். ஸோ அதில் கண் போன போக்கிலே. எஸ், கம் ஆன்.
1 2 3 1 2 3.
எவ்வளவு கிராண்டா இருக்கு பாருங்க.
போக்கிலே கால் போகலாமா, கால் போன போக்கிலே மனம் போகலாமா, மனம் போன போக்கிலே மனிதன் போகலாமா, மனிதன் போன போக்கிலே மனிதன் போகலாமா, மனிதன் போன பாதையை மறந்து போகலாமா, பாதையை மறந்து போகலாமா, கண் போன போக்கிலே கால் போகலாமா, கால் போன போக்கிலே மனம் போகலாமா.
Listen to this.
பொய்யான சில பேருக்கு புது நாகரீகம், புரியாத பல பேருக்கு இது நாகரீகம், முறையாக வாழ்வோம் இது நாகரீகம், முன்னோர்கள் சொன்னார்கள் அது நாகரீகம், முன்னோர்கள் சொன்னார்கள் அது நாகரீகம், கண் போன போக்கிலே கால் போகலாமா, கால் போன போக்கிலே மனம் போகலாமா.
எஸ், இதுல இந்த சாங் this is actually an accordion based instrument ஓட ஒரு ஸ்பெஷல் ஒன் இது. பட் certain times you need enthusiasmல we will have one song. Actually இந்த சாங் வந்து ரொம்ப ஸ்பெஷல் ஒன். Because every time anyone who are depressed or stressed again, I will have this song. This song is again very special even for Ilayaraja also. When someone visualizes that what they want to be, right now, they are there for their vision. That is why the visually challenged Beno Sheffin, when she visualized what she wants to be, she is there right now. This is again Madai Thirandu for the enthusiastic band. Madai Thirandu. Ta-na-na-na-na. Yes. Ta-na-na-na-na.
மழை தீரந்து தாவும் நதி அலை நான் மனம் தீரந்து கூவும் சிறு கோயில் நான் இசைக்கலைஞன் என் ஆசைகள் ஆயிரம் நினைத்தது பலித்தது லலலலலாம் லாலலலலலலாம் லலலலலாம் லாலலலலலலாம்.
Come on, drums பாருங்க.
Hey, hey, pa 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 pa, pa 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 pa, pa 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 pa. காலம் காலம் கனிந்தது, கதவுகள் திறந்தது, ஞானம் விளைந்தது, நல்லிசை பிறந்தது, புது ராகம் படைப்பதாலே நானும் இறைவனே, புது ராகம் படைப்பதாலே நானும் இறைவனே, இசைக்கென இசைக்கின்ற ரசிகர்கள் ராட்சியம் அமைப்பேன் நான். தாவும் நதி அலை நான் மடம் திறந்து கூவும் சிறு கோயில் நான் இசைக்கலைஞன் என் ஆசைகள் ஆயிரம் நினைத்தது பலித்தது.
Last week, actually, in the band order, I had one actually. Anything? Yeah. Yes. Last week we had with this band we had ஒரு சாங் ஆக்சுவலாக இது வந்து இளையராஜோட ஃபோக் டைப் ஆக்சுவலாக. சம்டைம்ஸ் ஃபோக்கில் டெத் டைமில் தி பேண்ட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட். ரிமெம்பர் தி பேஸ் பேண்ட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் பிகாஸ் தி பேஸ் பேண்ட் வில் சிங்க் வித் யுவர் கார்டிக் ஃபங்க்ஷன். அது உங்களோட கார்டியக் ஃபங்க்ஷனை ஸ்டெபிலைஸ் பண்ணுன்றதுக்காக தான் அந்த பேண்டை வாசிக்கிறதே. We do not know for the purpose actually. So, Ata, please come. 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 Yes. Come on, the youngsters, Pinadi. You can dance.
Hey, Ata, Atorama, Variyam, Nam Pata, Patamale, Boria, Adi, hey, Ata, Atorama, Variyam, Nam Pata, Patamale, Boria, Arata Pata, Yaramile, Alikela. தவிச்ச மனசுக்கு தண்ணி தர வேணாமா, தவிக்கும் மனசுக்கு அழித்தர நீவாமா, கவனமாயில சிரிக்கிற அழக பார்த்ததுமே மனசு பட்டு துடிக்குது. ஆத்தா ஆத்தரமா வாரியா, நாம் பார்த்தா பார்க்காமலே போறியா. தோட்டத்துக்கு பேசாதே கண்ணால அம்மாடி அம்மால பாடுற வாட்டத்துக்கு தவிச்ச வீட்டுக்கு அள்ளியன வேணாமா, திருச்ச மனசுக்கு அள்ளித்தர நீவாமா, அவள வாயில சிரிக்கிற அழக பார்த்ததுமே மனசு பட்டு துடிக்குது. ஆத்தா ஆத்தா யாரும் இல்லை அள்ளிக்கெல்லாம் பிள்ளை. ஆத்தோரமா பாரியா, நான் பார்த்தா பார்க்காமலே போறியா. See, now one Hindi according version from our Patrick sir with us. See, எப்படி அமைஞ்சிருச்சு இல்ல Patrick sir இந்த இவங்களோட. Yes sir, Hindi song. One Hindi, yeah. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So, இந்த மைக் ஒர்க் ஆகல. இந்த நம்பர் 2 மைக் நம்பர் 2 ஒர்க் ஆகல. எஸ், இளங்காத்து. இளங்காத்து. Number 2 mic, please. Number 2 mic, ஒரு நிமிஷம்.
ஏம்பா இல்ல இவ்வளவு வெயிட் வச்சு வாசிக்கணும். மானிட்டர் அப்பா.
It doesn't get better than this as we come to the conclusion of this evening. We have
accordion
everybody on stage, but we have one finale song, locked and loaded, after which there are some giveaway gifts and some mementos. The bags that you've got have snacks in them. Please don't open them in the hall. And we will be concluding this evening after the finale.
கேக்கல.
அப்பா இந்த மைக்கு சைட் பில்ல கொஞ்சம் வால்யூம் ஏற்றி விடு. மைக் நம்பர் 2.
எங்க ஒரு மைக்? அப்பா இந்த வெயிட் எவ்வளவு தெரியுமா? இன்ஸ்ட்ருமெண்ட் அப்பவே சொன்னேனே 10.5 கிலோ வெயிட் இது. இங்க வந்து தூக்கு தெரியும் உனக்கு. புரிஞ்சுதா? மைக் வால்யூம் வை. ஸ்ட்ரெயின் பண்ணி பிரயோஜனம் இல்லை அப்புறமா. நான் இந்த மாதிரி வைக்கிறேன். வாட் இஸ் திஸ்? கடைசியில் ப்ரோக்ராம் முடிகிற நேரத்தில் வச்சா என்ன பிரயோஜனம்? வாட் இஸ் த யூஸ்?
ஹலோ, யா ஹலோ, எஸ். இளம் காத்து வீசுதே, இளம் காத்து வீசுதே.